Jason Kelce starts it off. Jalen Hurts, is right there. Haven't been able to drive because you've seen it, right? You've seen it across the league that people can't do it like we can do it. They can't do it like we can do it, and so I'm making my plug right there. Like, don't ban this play. Like, if everyone could do it, everybody would. Where's the camera? If everybody could do it, everybody would do it.
From a physical standpoint, it looked like you were a little hobbled.
I'll be fine.
You ended up putting a brace on Jalen during the game.
I did.
Is that anything you think that will affect you going forward?
I hope not.
Did it happen in game or?
No.
All right, welcome back to the show. Mike Jones is here. That was Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts after a game that Mike Jones actually attended last night. It's Philadelphia and Miami in Philly. Philly wearing the Kelly green, by the way, Mike Jones. Wearing that Kelly green. Ooh,
yeah.
Maybe it's because I haven't seen it in a while. It's just, it's just perfect. It's just the look. It's the look. It's clean. It's green. It's good.
I love it.
Yeah, with the silver pants to go with it. I mean, they need to bring it back permanently, like starting today.
Oh, word.
Yep.
Don't go back to the other thing. This is the look right here. This is hot.
That's the
right
look. Like, even if you can't play, like Rita kind of has that green on right now.
I do.
Even if you can't play, you look like you can play wearing that uniform. I mean, I saw Julio Jones. I saw the picture of like all the receivers, Julio and Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and then Ocho Cinco was at the game, and they were all standing there. I said, man, Julio looked like he can go for 12 catches. I know he can't, but you look the part when you're wearing that. But not only did they look the part, they played the part. What was your takeaway, your number one takeaway from that matchup last night?
Was that, look, they needed a big response after the awful, disappointing, stunning loss that they had to the Jets, where it was filled with missed opportunities and self-inflicted wounds. If they are who they say they are, they needed to come back in a big way. And they did just that. They started off a little slow, but that's what we see from them. But the one thing that is consistent with them is they are unfazed by any little hiccups. They shrug it off. They're resilient. And they deliver some really strong complementary football. Their offense was a little bit slow. They turn the ball over. The defense gets a stop. The offense marches down and scores. The defense has another stand. They just really know how to put together a physical, well-rounded performance. And so I think that they answered the questions. We were wondering, okay, what happens when you get hit in the mouth? And that's what happened when they went up to New York. Should not have happened, but it did. And they even talked about, hey, we've got to come out with field response. And they did just that. So they answered questions for me. They are among the elite in the NFC. And any team will have struggles matching up with them because of how versatile their offense is and how dynamic their defense is at each level.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I agree. I do think that their resilience is a big part of their makeup as a team. You see Jalen Hurts throw that pick six, and my favorite thing about him is that he lets it go. He doesn't let it carry on, and he doesn't hold on to those types of things. He knows that he has to go back out there and continue to make plays, and he did just that. And it didn't look like he was hindering that pick. And so to me, that says a lot about the makeup of your football team. And obviously this was a big test for them because we know that Miami is as good as they are on offense, was going to be a big contest for them. And they not only did they pass the test, I mean, they passed it with flying colors. And look, we can sit here and say, oh, Miami didn't have their guys in the secondary and blah, blah. At the end of the day, people still out there getting paid. People still out there making plays. And they did what they were supposed to do, which is win handedly against one of the better teams in the National Football League. I mean, I never really felt contested to say, oh, are they a contender in the NFC like you, Mike? I mean, obviously, depending on how that game went, like if they lost big time, that's something that I think I would have questioned. But I think ultimately, I think that their makeup is so good and their roster is so good that to me, they're never out of the conversation.
No, I agree with you. And the thing is with them is they didn't just beat the Dolphins; they held the Dolphins, that really electrifying offense, to a season low in yards and a season low in points. Tyreek Hill was averaging 135 yards a game. He only had 88 yesterday. They didn't let them get the run game going, and Mike McDaniel really likes to run the ball, and he believes in balance. They couldn't do what they wanted to do. These guys were legit. Their defense came when the offense had the hiccups. The defense made sure that they erased those transgressions for them. They're just really, really well-rounded, one of the best teams out there, and we're going to see them making a deep run in January, I think.
I want to switch gears, Mike and Rita. I want to ask you both about this. I think one of the easiest things to do in all sports, particularly in basketball, this happens all the time in basketball. Basketball fans throughout the game, and it's annoying to sit next to some of them, throughout the game will just ride the officials. Oh, you can't believe you missed that. Oh, he traveled, he missed that. You know, just like, okay, every now and then, sure, but the entire game is too much. But yesterday, it seemed it was weird. Something was in the air. There were a few games, Mike and Rita, where the officials factored into the final score, one way or the other. For example, the Indianapolis game. Indianapolis lost it by a point. Cleveland 39, Indianapolis 38. Down the stretch, there was a play where a fumble would have essentially, a fumble and recovery would have essentially ended the game for the Colts, give the Colts a win. Official comes in, calls holding, called another pass interference penalty that was a little shaky. The ball appeared to be uncatchable. Ball was placed at the 1 yard line. Kareem Hunt goes in and Cleveland wins the game. Pittsburgh, a fourth down. I've looked at the replay many times. I like the Steelers. I didn't see them convert this fourth down. I didn't see it.
Because they didn't.
And so that affects the game. Now you can look at Kareem Jackson being ejected from his second game this season. His hit on the sideline gets him ejected from the game. Whatever, maybe he should know better. I don't know, but I wonder what you all see. And Mike, I'll start with you. What do you all see? And those are just a few examples. I'm probably left out a couple more from officiating that is affecting the games. What did you see, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, look, they are human. And I feel like every year we see this, it's just in different forms. You know, I think last year, the year before that, it was all those ticky-tack rough in the passer calls that really were changing the complexion of games. These, you know, especially the one with the Steelers, that one was just really blatant. And they weren't able to challenge that, was the thing that was so unfortunate, because that could have really changed things. I don't know what the solution is. You know, they've had a lot of turnover at the referees' positions and things like that. But some of these guys have been on there for a couple of years now. You are hoping that they are there to enforce the rules, but not be a part of the outcome. But sometimes it happens, and sometimes there's human error where they make the wrong calls, because they have to make it in a split second. Now they have the replay, but even so, it's got to be, you know, conclusive. If there's any question, they've got to go with what they called on the field. And it's unfortunate that we're talking about that on some of these outcomes rather than the plays the guys made, but that's just part of the game.
Yeah, it is. And it's very unfortunate. And it's not even just this week, Holly, because when I was on the show last week, my feed said NFL referees want to be bad bees. It really feels like they are trying to incorporate themselves in these football games with the poor decisions that's being made. The problem, guys, that I have is that what is forcing the NFL to make a change? I mean, is viewership going down? Like, what is actually happening for the NFL to really say we need to do an overhaul with the way these games are officiated? And as of right now, I don't think that there's anything to force them to do anything differently about this. And he's already mentioned the turnover for the referees. I just don't, you know, we've heard about, having full-time refs. I don't ever think that that's going to be a thing, whether people like it or not, because there's only a certain amount of games and they only play them a couple of days a week. So I don't know what the answer is. And again, what is the NFL? What is forcing them to make this game better. We're going to keep watching. And so it's
Right.
going to be what it's going to be, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. What's going to force them to make this game better? I don't know, but full-time officials, yes, I would be with. It's not going to solve the problem because, as I mentioned off the top, NBA has full-time officials, and their fans hate it. They hate it. They hate the officials.
Right.
You know, just go at them. Yeah, other sports do too. It's part of a tradition to kind of complain about the officials. But I guess what's so frustrating, and Mike, you said it off the top, when you have technology, theoretically is there to help clarify some of these controversial decisions. And either you say, well, we can't use it in this case. Well, I mean, you can't use it. It's there. You should be able to override.
You want to get it right.
The league
right,
should, the league should be able to come in and say, "Nah, okay, we're not going to let a game end with something that we know to be an error." That just doesn't make good sense to me. By the way, before I forget, Ian Rappaport, NFL Insider, just tweeted that the Eagles made a trade. They're trading for Kevin Byard, the safety from Tennessee.
From Tennessee?
Mike,
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Mike, what do you think about that? I know he was an All-Pro a couple of years ago. I don't know if his play has slipped off. I honestly haven't followed him since their team has slipped a bit. What do you think about this move for Philly?
Well, you know, it's good for Philly from this standpoint. Look, they have had a ton of injuries in their secondary, especially their safety position. They've got some young guys who have played well. Sidney Brown, Reed Blankenship. But both those guys have struggled with injury, have struggled to stay on the field. And so when you get a guy like Byard, that is somebody that's got experience, the 8-year veteran. He's a 2-time All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler. Yesterday, Darius Slay was talking about how, look, you know, early on we were struggling a little bit. We got a lot of young guys back there, and we're talking and we're trying to get them coached up and trying to get everybody on the same page and teach them on the fly. Well, now you have a veteran guy that you can have in the meeting rooms to help these young guys, and then have them on the field and be almost like a coach on the field for some of these situations. And so that way you're not having, because the touchdown to Tyreek Hill, they said, you know, that was a lapse, communication breakdown. They had the 3rd and 18 where they let them get the first down before that touchdown. And, you know, so there was some communication issues there. So they need to have some stability. They haven't had health. But having Byard, he should help them. I'm not saying he's going to solve everything, but just having some experience, a guy who's been there, can help learn, help teach and train these young guys, it should be a good thing for their secondary.
Mike, we love having you on, man. And, you know, I don't want to start any trouble, but, you know, Rita started some fights yesterday. Liv Moods starting some fights. I'm just wondering, when's the last time you were in a fight? What happened? What happened? When's the last time you were in a fight, Mike Jones?
I mean, I'm always in Twitter fights with Washington fans. I mean, you say any little negative thing and they think that, you know, you're attacking them when they haven't done anything for 35 years worth, you know, really praising. I had a little bit of a dust up with D'Angelo Hall one time outside the locker room, but he and I kissed and made up, you know. I'm a lover. I get a little passionate sometimes, and, you know, sometimes that's channeled the wrong way. I don't want to fight. I want to get along, but, you know, sometimes just get a little heated. Just passionate is what I call it, you know?
I like that. D'Angelo Hall, you were like, wait a minute. Oh, he's serious. Hey, hold me back. You better be, you lucky they hold me back.
D'Angelo Hall's small, man. That's my guy now.
So you're saying you can take D'Angelo Hall? Is that what you're telling us?
Yo, I'm just saying that D Hall and I are similar sizes. I've probably got a few pounds on him. But D Hall don't back down from anything. Just thank Raheem Morris there for walking up and protecting D Hall from this thing here.
Okay, we're gonna have next time you're on, D'Angelo Hall's gonna be on Brother from Another. We can get his side of the story. Okay, I want to hear his version of events. I like your version.
By the way, I believe Mike's version. I believe him.
Okay.
Yo,
hold him back.
Okay.
Hold him back.
It all ended up well. But neither one of us were scared of the other one, so maybe that'll tell you something. We're both a little, you know.
Yeah, okay. Mike Jones, good stuff. You fight for information, though, man. You fight for the truth. You fight for justice. That's what I like. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us
3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.